Okay, so this is a quick video talking about my troubleshooting steps and what I did to get my Navien CH-240 ASME back online. You can see I have the primary combination boiler there. I've got a little control for it over here. First, the problem. So I had intermittent ignition failure, throughout the summer. I'd basically come back in here, I'd hit the on-off, it would fire back up and everything was fine. A little bit of a headache, but not optimal. About 5 days ago, this bad boy started throwing off the same error, which at the time was an E12 error. And when I got the E12 error, you look it up, you see what's going on, and they tell you it's probably the flame rod assembly. A lot of videos out there, guys, talking about this. In fact, I just went ahead earlier this summer and bought a couple of these flame rod assemblies. You can see the one that I pulled out here, there, and you can see what a new one looks like, right? And so, pretty marked difference in what you have there. And so it seemed pretty obvious to me that was the problem. Now, I won't go into detail on how to install that. It's actually not too hard. You pull out the inductor or blower. There's 3 screws on that, and then you pull this guy out. There's a couple screws. It is a little wonky to try to get it back in. I recommend taking off this outside bracket first, get it in, and then put this bracket back on. That seemed to help me quite a bit. Once I got that installed, I reinstalled the blower, turned this thing back on, and rebooted it, and lo and behold, fires right up and everything's good. That lasted for about 9 hours, and then it started throwing off a new code, an E12 E3.200. And so, all right, so now we got to go to the internet again because the Navien manual is about, start a fire with it or something. But a lot of guys are saying that, they replaced this, and then they had to replace, this PCB motherboard. Now, this part's super cheap. I got that for like $9. I bought 3 of them. What the heck? The PCB I was able to find on sale from list price at $280 for $189, and I overnight shipped it, so that cost me $60. This is the old one. I put the new one in. Super simple to put in on this particular model. I know other models are not probably as easy, but it was basically 3 screws and then labeling your cables to put them back in the right area. This thing is a little sporty, but it's easy to do. Pop it on the back end, be careful, and pull that out and put it in a new board. So once I put that in, I was pretty excited because a lot of the other guys that have done this, their unit fired back up and everything was good. Not so in my case. Now in my case, I figured out an intermittent hack to light the system, and this may be a key or kind of a symptom that you guys can look for. But in that blower that's up here in this corner here, you can actually put your hand under there to kind of block or siphon or filter the amount of air that's going into the chamber for the mix. And what I found is I could actually get this thing to ignite by changing the airflow going into the mixing room area there, compartment, and fire it up. And then if I turn the hot water on, it'd stay on for whatever period of time the hot water's on. We could take a shower or whatever. So that allowed me a little bit more time with my lovely wife to make sure that I could continue troubleshooting this or replacing the parts. I'm not a certified boiler technician, but I do build a lot of computers, so I figured this was part of this I could do. Now I continued reading, and what I learned was that there's this other part here that attaches to the flame rod assembly and the PCB board via this cable, and that sent the signal to the flame rod assembly to actually ignite. And you can see mine was a little bit burnt or whatever this is, fractured, frayed, and I don't think it was getting a good connection. And so it's another super inexpensive part that you can find. I'll show you the part number on this. Now they did change part numbers, but it's basically this 115 volt transceiver that sends signal to the flame rod assembly for it to fire. Super simple to replace. I popped that off, rebooted the system, and guess what? Everything started working beautifully. The one thing that I did notice is that I was starting to get condensation down here. And that was another kind of leading indicator of another problem that was probably causing issues in the mixing in the unit. And so I went down here and I undid this overflow for the condensation thing and got a massive amount of silt and water that had basically not gone down this, had gone up over this trap that's in there and was all over this floor. You can kind of still see I got to do a better job cleaning that up. But I decided to kind of take that assembly apart inside. I'm not going to show you. You guys will see it. There's a black tube that connects up into where the water gets warm. And basically got more silt out, got more crap out, unblocked this tube, and now I think it's running very efficiently and good. So there's 4 things I did. It was flame rod assembly, it was the PCB board, it was this thing that fires the flame rod assembly, and then cleaning out the silt and kind of debris, from this trap and the condensation tube. So hopefully this video helps you guys. Navien was not a help because I called them and as a homeowner they don't want to tell me anything. So a lot of this had to be figured out by piecing together multiple videos and blogs from various guys. And so hopefully this helps you guys. Thanks.